that can increase risk of certain cancers, according to new recommendations. The U.S. Preventative Services Task Force is updating its recommendation for the risk assessment to include women who personally have been diagnosed with breast or ovarian cancer in the past, but completed treatment and are cancer-free, and those who have certain ancestries associated with BRCA1 or BRCA2 mutations. In local news, a person has tested positive for West Nile virus in Moab, making it the third reported case in Utah this year. Dixie State University has postponed the release of its new website, but it will be revealed soon. The DSU main site would be revised and updated to better help users. For more information, head on over to DixieSunNews.com. Thanks for listening, and for more news updates, stay tuned to Radio Dixie 91.3.
Happy August 21st, sports fans. For Dixie Sports, we continue to wait for the season to start on the 5th of September when the men's soccer team will go travel to Midwestern State. Moving on to the major sports, with MLB being the only sport in action right now. Last night, the Minnesota Twins beat the Chicago White Sox 14-4. The Arizona Diamondbacks beat the Colorado Rockies 8-7. And the Atlanta Braves beat the Miami Marlins 5-1. For more scores, news, highlights, and much more, tune to Radio Dixie 91.3.
Weather brought to you by 24-Hour Air Conditioning and Stephen Wade Honda Mazda.
Okay, a little cooler tomorrow, but today, Wednesday, October 21st, your temperature forecast for the greater Dixie area is 106 and 72. For Zion National Park, 102 and 68. And for Bryan Head Village, 67 and 48. For Radio Dixie and Radio St. George, this is Dennis Mattinson.
Oh yeah, that's the Midnight Special. That's the Midnight Special.
I'm Rich Warren, inviting you to tune in to our Midnight Special, folk music and farce, show tunes and satire, madness and escape. 2 hours weekly, ranging from ancient ballads to cutting-edge singer-songwriters, classic Broadway shows, and the latest British comedy, all on the Midnight Special.
The Midnight Special, Saturday evenings from 7 till 9 on Radio St. George 100.3. Welcome to Live a Better Life with Dr. Cody Nilsson from Desert Edge Medical.
Depression is the leading cause of disability for those aged 15 to 44 in the United States. Help for depression is available. I'm Dr. Cody Nilsson, board certified in family medicine from Desert Edge Medical, and I can help you live a better life.
Desert Edge Medical, 656-2995, 656-2995.
Every weeknight from 7 till 10, the Legends of Jazz take over. Miles Davis, John Coltrane, Kurt Elling, and so much more. Evening Jazz on Radio St. George, 100.3 FM.
Your home for music till dawn. Radio St. George at 100.3 FM.
This is KDXI St. George, Radio St. George at 100.3 FM. Creator of Energy Healing by Design, Nicole Ashton, a world-renowned healer and luminary whose life after death experience has allowed her the gift of empowering people around the globe to heal and grow into their true authentic space. Nicole, with her natural connection to Source, which has remained open since her return, will help you and your family find the frequency of gratitude and patient love that will assist you in awakening your soul's design. We now welcome you to Return to Consciousness with your host, Nicole.
Hello, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Return to Consciousness, live with Nicole and April. Today, we are super excited to be talking about music, sound, and frequency, and how it can assist you in your everyday life, and healing and connection and all of that wonderful stuff. So I'm Nicole Ashton. I'm a world-renowned healer, luminarian, I was born awake. Through a near-death experience, I discovered or activated my gifts and abilities to heal and do compassion work And it's allowed me space to travel the world and be able to share that with all you beautiful loved ones. And we want to thank you all for listening each week, as this is spirit guided. And we have these topics, but sometimes they don't stay on them, but that's okay. And so I'll just have April Betty introduce herself a little bit and about what she does.
Hi, my name is April. There's my microphone. It wasn't working. My name is April. I am a realtor in Southern Utah, and I have a nonprofit, and I love doing humanitarian work. And I'm super excited about today. I don't know why, but I just feel so happy, and I just feel like laughing.
I do too.
Do you? Okay, good. So it's good to be here. I'm excited for our guest who's going to be on.
Scott, right?
Yes.
He will be on the second half to share his story, a little bit about his story, and what he's going to do at our retreat this weekend up in Cliff Rose. So that is really exciting. So I have just a few things I want to share about the music and about frequency and sound and how it shows up in my life. I can be like asking for messages from spirit and really be in that needing to, like, that truth seeking and things like that. And I always seem to find my answers through songs. So I'll just like be drawn to turn some kind of music on, and it's always different. And it's like the words speak to me, and it's like, and that's what I needed to know at that moment. So that's how music speaks to me through message wise and through healing. It's like the frequency, and I use a lot of that. And when I died and came back, it was the music, it was the sounds and frequencies and vibrations that I learned to heal my body. And I learned that our body is created in a symphony of vibrations, colors, lights, and joy. And so that's how that has showed up in my world of healing. How about you?
Well, I love that kind of music because when I first think of music, I don't think of that kind of music. I think of more louder, rough around the edges kind of music. So that's why I was excited to have the guest who's coming on speak, because it's another kind of music. Like I like dancing, I like music, and I love the benefits from it. And so for me, I think it's pretty cool when you shift to the more like what you're talking about, like the sounds, the vibration, instead of just the bounce, beat, kind of music, if that makes sense.
It doesn't. Even at times, like when I'm having, I was realizing I was in a really melancholy, you can be in that blissful space and share all this love and share this light, but also it gets a little boring, and I was thinking, I love this, and I'm healing, and I'm doing these mantras and stuff, and it's beautiful, and then it seemed like all of a sudden this Taylor Swift came on, and I'm like, and it was just like these certain songs as I got up and I was like cleaning, and I realized how important music is. And then also you can have some that for some people it will lower your mood or higher your mood, but there's no right or wrong music, I realized, because some people, the really harder rock, that gets them up and going. And then I found that some of the harder rock, is that what it's called? Hard rock? There you go.
Maybe. I just call some of my music like ghetto, kind of trashy.
Well, I realized that their messages because I started asking, I'm like, well, I hear that it's going to shatter your energy, or it's going to do this. And there's all these things that I was hearing. So I'm like, let me see about these artists. And some of them actually, their message is a message from spirit, and it's actually about service and inspiration. And I realized that this genre of music is whatever fits you.
That's true. I know sometimes I have to Google, like, what does that message mean? And usually my son, he's like, Mom, do you know this song means this or that? Because some music you do hear over and over. And so sometimes you do have to be aware, because you could be training your brain to have these, like certain songs probably you should be mindful of at times.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, I found not to judge myself as I was listening.
Well, that's good.
I'm like, does it feel good? Yeah, and it got me up moving and doing things that I was just kind of I realized I was just out like for 3 hours doing a meditation for somebody, and I couldn't seem to get going. And then there's Taylor Swift. I'm like, thank you, Taylor.
She got you up and
She got
going.
me up and going. And Native American also does that, which is really amazing because Scott Wright, his origin, and this is my view of him. We're going to hear from him later. But what I've seen is he also does photography, and I really feel this sense of origin through everything. Anybody that follows my work is I've always been finding the origin of everything. And it's like he found that through the nature, and it speaks to you. And his music is actually done through creativity. It's not like he sits and he maybe does sometimes, but from my view, is that like nature speaks to him, the moment speaks to him, and that's how he creates his music. So it's really exciting. He will be at the Cliff Rose this weekend with us, October 29th, with Jeffrey Olson, myself, and Lula Grace at a spiritual retreat. We will be talking about our NDEs, which is a near-death experience, and we will be bringing you into the light and sharing our experience with you, and really watching where people are. And it's such a joy to share the experience and watch people's lights light up. And it's something I do, Lula does, and Jeff do in our own separate areas, and we are bringing it together in the NDA experience. Scott Wright didn't die. I don't believe. He'll correct me if I'm wrong when he calls, but he did in his own way. He let his ego go, and he really moved into healing music. So frequency and vibration. A lot of people ask me, what does that mean? To me, I started listening to it a while ago. Started it with August 21st, 1998. I had my son, and my son had a tumor, and for months they told me to abort him, and that he had all these problems. And through this time, it was that music. I was really into listening to I listened to it was Christian rock at the time. I've never been religious, but it kept drawing to me everything that had to do with Jesus and Christ, and I was really focused on putting that sound and vibration into my stomach more so than the words or anything. It was just like, I feel this, that my son is going to be fine. And then I kept, every time that I would have a moment of the doctors telling me that, after I had him, they said he was still going to cross over. Because he had such a large tumor. The tumor was 4 ounces, 8 ounces. It's very emotional for me, so I'm going to lose my mind a little bit, but bear with me. But I remember putting my hands in the air and surrendering, and then putting my hands on my stomach and then listening. And I'm like, you know what? He's going to be fine. And I didn't realize what I was doing. I didn't know. I thought that was just a motherly instinct until I crossed over and realized that the gifts that I had been given, that I've been blessed with. So then the frequency and vibration when I crossed over made a lot more sense to me when I'm in the light and I can see the movements of the energy. I can see the universal system. I can see how creator works. I can see all this stuff that I get to do when I came back to my body, and then I got to apply it to my body. Then my son made sense to me. It made sense of what was happening in the stuff I didn't understand at the time. And so he is 21 today. So happy birthday, Britton.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
That's so funny because my son he just turned 21 a week ago today.
Oh, wow.
So they're just a week apart.
That's great.
Is he your third?
Mm-hmm.
That's my third too.
Synchronicities with you and I are great, right?
I know. That is funny.
Yeah.
And they say too, music helps just like when your baby's in your womb to let your baby listen to music too.
Yeah, and he loved white noises and heartbeat. He loved that. And he's very, very gifted. He crossed over several times in the surgeries and stuff like that. And so he has a really sensitive soul, sensitivity with him. So through that frequency vibration and sharing through the music, it's really interesting until you stop and you're present with what's going on around you. You don't realize how big of a catalyst it is. I mean, and it does do stuff that's not healthy too, or not, we've seen both spectrums, right? Just like everything else.
Right.
But I invite the caller to sit and listen to what's around them. The trees, they play music. The birds, they play music. You know, it's not just the sounds that you're hearing that comes out of the radio. The sounds that really touch your heart are inspired by stillness, by outside, by being in your center, being grounded into your body to create that music at all. And then Scott will share some about that later as well. So we're going to do a short meditation just to bring in some frequencies and vibrations. And I'm like not having a lot of words, so I'm just going to say, kind of bring down colors and lights, and do with this whatever feels good to you. And remember, healing and energy have no time and distance. So whenever this finds you, it's going to be your perfect timing. So I'm just going to invite you to sit back and relax. Really focus on an intention. What is your intention? What is it that you can feel through a sound, through a frequency that brings you joy? Internal joy. That's unconditional love in motion. You don't have to think about it. It just is. Imagine this white light just beaming around you. This beautiful white light illuminating in this sequence of colors. It's diamonds. It's this brilliant light. Breathe it in and exhale it out your heart and around your energy field or your auric field. Each breath in, play with it. Feel the dance. Diamonds are moving through your body. There's a really beautiful diamond energy right now available to us if we allow ourselves to tap into it. Now imagine there's a white light above your head that moves down the top of your head, through your chakra system, your energy centers, which go down right down the core of your body, clearing and cleansing and really bringing them into a diamond white light. And as this happens, organs in your body are feeling this. They're lighting up and they're moving out anything that doesn't serve you. And breathe in and breathe out anything that doesn't serve you. This is moving this out of every cell of your body. Breathe in an expansion. Feel your body expand into this diamond white light. And breathe out that diamond white light. Imagine yourself sitting in this beautiful diamond. Shiny, full of love, full of light, just emanating. You know, if any part of your body feels heavy, breathe into that. Whatever color comes to your head, breathe it out. Now witness this light move right into the core of Mother Earth. And breathe up that unconditional love. And remember, every breath you take in and send down that's full of unconditional love, Mother Earth sends it up multiplied by 10. Boom. Just feel that move through your whole entire body. You are enough. And you always have been. You are loved beyond anything you've ever been shown or told. You were born in greatness, unconditional love, and a spark of light. Feel that through every cell of your body. Be present with any sounds or vibrations, sacred geometric signs you may see, symbols. These are all part of you remembering your greatness. Breathe in the light. Breathe out a gold light to really enforce your auric field. And as the angels, guides, all the spirit helpers move back into their time, space continuum, imagine tree trunks coming right up from the ground, squish your feet in some sand or some rocks or something very, very grounding, whatever that looks like to you, and breathe up that vitality, nutrients from Mother Earth, and just let it move throughout your whole body. And so it is. As you're doing this, and you're back into this kind of space, some people understand. Like, some people are just curious what we do here. Some people can feel it, and some people really give us feedback of how amazing it is that they can clear through this meditation that took 5 minutes. And so we are honored to show up for you guys on Wednesdays to assist you in that. Again, some might not understand. It's okay. Shelf it for later, or be curious, play with it, and have fun. And those that it's really, really touching, go sit with this for a little bit and really let it sit in, let it sink in, because it will cycle as long as you allow it to. So, what was your experience, April?
Well, when I first started, I could see all the kids in Haiti playing at school because I'm working on getting their school fees right now. So when you were saying like music could be different sounds, I could hear them laughing and playing. And it was pretty cool because they actually had a play set, like, which I want to create, which they don't really have play toys over there. So I was there. Then I was on the beach in the sand. You were there. And then I don't remember where else I went, but I do remember at the end, I don't know what you said, but I kept hearing, you said like look for geometric signs or sounds or something. And I kept hearing trees, trees, trees. And then I was like, I just want to hug a tree. And then I was just like ready to dance. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there was a few more things I don't remember, but I got a lot in 5 minutes. So thank you.
That is amazing too, how that can happen. And I did too. My eyes are open because I'm focused on, sometimes when I close my eyes, I go out and I might not come back for a little bit. So I have to keep my eyes open and present. But I can see the energy moving around you. And I did see the waves come in, and then I saw crystals. And then I did see, I'm like, why am I standing over her shoulder? But that's crazy.
Probably on the beach.
Yeah, that's so amazing. I love it.
Yeah. And the diamond, I actually visualized being in a diamond. That was beautiful.
And that's what I could see too, is when I was saying imagine around you, because it was just coming up, just beaming, and everyone's like these prism, and it's time to prism. That, and I'm getting the message, like, shine, people, shine, because when you shine, the others will shine with you, and when you're hesitant to, then they're hesitant to. And I felt that through some of our stuff here. Sometimes we don't dare share prior to in the beginning. It's kind of, you're afraid of judgment. I gotta admit, I'm on air, so I was holding back from some of the stuff that I know. And now I'm like, you know what? Spirit says speak, so I better listen, or I'm on honor to listen. So that's amazing. And we love your feedback. We love questions. We can't answer them on Facebook just because their screens aren't available to us. So when you leave a comment, we will answer later. And sometimes there's some of our amazing followers that will answer for you because they know, and they also can help and assist you in questions. And so frequency and sounds. One thing that has come into my awareness lately is the Nico Hansen's Lotus Flower. I used to not chant because I didn't understand what it meant, and so the fear kept me away from doing it. And then he came on our show, and I started chanting, and then I stopped, and then I started, and I kept having this kind of push and pull thing. And then I started working with him quite a bit, and I realized, he said, Nicole, I'm chanting for you. When you chant, you'll feel it. And I'm like, okay. And I kind of, I could feel it, but I was lazy. I'm like, man, this is a lot of work. And then I'm like, no, just try it. Just try it. And then he said, chant until your heart explodes and you're going to get your intention, Nicole. Just do it. And so I did. And the minute that I just went and chanted and chanted and chanted until I could hear him without my earphones. So I realized that I had connected with him, and that what he was sharing, blessings and what he had been sharing with me, I started to receive through light waves, and I'm seeing him, and that's big for me because I see that all the time. But for something to be so present and so tangible to everyone, so you can do this. I mean, find something that resonates in your soul. Find something that fits, and try it. And right when you think you want to give up, because I did, I'm like, Nicole, my breath is gone. I'm going lightheaded, and I've sat here for an hour.
Was it an hour? I was going to ask you, how long was it? An hour?
Well, I kept doing it little bit by little bit, and I'd get pieces and pieces. And finally, he said, "You've got to pretty much. You need to commit." And he didn't give me a time length, but I just kept doing it because I'm like, I'm going to Uganda by myself. I need tools. I'm calling for assistance so I can deliver the message in the most pure, authentic way without being in fear. And I matched the support that I needed by doing that. So then all of a sudden the waves were coming in, and I really could feel the safety, because I know I'm not in danger, but going over alone to be supported is very important, and I could feel its support, So it was really amazing for me to be able to experience that. So I encourage people to find your way that creates that safe space for you to connect, because it's really lights. Some people see it in lights, senses, vibration. Some feel chills. There's all sorts of ways, but when you feel it, be it. Like, go, oh my gosh, it's happening. Because we forget. We can get those huge signs and forget really quickly.
So when you were doing it, were you doing just a repetitive, or was it like, does he have a guided one that you were like following, like, or were they just a certain same? I know he has the chants, but do you have it memorized?
It's Nam Renge Kyo and
over and over.
Nam Renge Kyo. Nam Renge. I just said it once.
You can do it.
Nam Renge Kyo. Nam Renge Kyo. And I started listening to a slower version, and then I got faster and faster and faster. And then I kind of went into my own tune, and then I lost my tune, and I went back. But I didn't stop and get frustrated, because when I'm thinking a lot, like just right now, in my bedroom, I can just do it. I get it. And then I'll trail off on a thought, and then I'm like, I'm getting it wrong. Now I just messed it up. And I didn't do that. I'm just like, I was way off on that one. Let's jump back in. and it worked. And it did take me an hour. It took me an hour to sit there, because before I'm like, this isn't working. Well, it's because I was doing 5 and 10 minutes, and every time I would mess up, I would stop. So, but it's worth it.
And I'm going to try it.
Yeah. So we are going to be right back and we will have on the phone with us Scott Wright. And again, I'm Nicole Ashton. You can reach me at energyhealingbydesign.com and April Betty at handshealinghearts.com. Thank you.
Hola, I am composer Elvio Barilari, host of Fiesta. Please join me for a program on classical tango. Since the 1920s, composers have found inspiration in the urban music from Rio de la Plata, tango. On our next Fiesta, we visit symphonic and chamber repertoire inspired by this fascinating genre.
Fiesta, Thursdays at noon on Radio St. George 100.3.
Maggleby's, a fine sponsor of the radio program at Dixie State University. Maggleby's Restaurant, for lunch and dinner, and with catering available too. Made with Maggleby's love, at 1450 Hilton Drive in St. George. Maggleby's, a fine sponsor of Radio Dixie and Radio St. George.
Some of the web stuff you see on Radio Dixie 913.com is brought to you by St. George Design, specializing in web design, custom graphic design, and print media. Give your business what it deserves. A great website with a great design. A proud sponsor of Radio Dixie and Radio St. George. stgeorgedesign.com.
Dixie Sun News, your source for all of the latest news, sports, opinion, features, and more on the Dixie State University campus. Grab a paper today or visit DixieSunNews.com. Dixie Sun News, the voice of Dixie.
On September 11th, Dixie State is proud to present Tyler Rich in concert at the Encampment Mall at 7:30 p.m. General admission is $20 and $10 per student. For tickets, please visit dixie.life/TylerRich19. This is brought to you by Dixie State University.
Addiction is an epidemic, and the lines of communication need to be opened. I'm Heston Cherry, and Mondays at 3, we open up and share our stories from addiction to recovery to hope and resources. There is light at the end of the tunnel of addiction. Mondays at 3 on Radio St. George 100.3 FM.
Email us at radiostgeorge@gmail.com.
You're listening to Radio St. George 100.3 FM. We now welcome you back to Return to Consciousness with your host, Nicole.
Hello, all you beautiful people. We are going to get Scott Wright on the phone, and I just want to thank everybody for loving, living, learning, and growing, because that is what we are doing here. And Scott, I was going to have him call in, but I'm going to try to call him, and I'm going to have April share a story while we are working on this together. So thank you.
Okay, so I have a story. I met this girl, her name is Camille, and I met her in Costa Rica, and I love her. She does all kinds of stuff. One of the things she does is she dances, and she has like all these different playlists, and every day she dances to music.
Here we are.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's okay. Well, I was just trying to kill time.
We want that.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you guys?
We are doing amazing. So the first part of the show, we shared a lot about you, and I left it wide open for speculation. So I'm like, we're going to talk right to you and hear what you do and all about you.
That sounds great. Yeah, I got to listen to most of what you were talking about. So I got to tell you one serendipity. You both have kids that are turning 21 coming up. Is that what I heard?
Yes.
And it's your third child?
Yes.
My third son turns 21 on the 31st. So there you go.
My gosh.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy. Wow.
So we were all having kids about the same time in August.
And yours is a boy too?
Yep, mine's a boy.
You gotta love that. Love that universe.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Well, I was listening to what you were saying, and I mean, you're really pretty spot on with what you were talking about. My experience, there's a lot more detail, obviously, of how everything unfolded for me. But I'll just you kind of want to hear how music came to me, I think, right?
Yeah, your story is fascinating. I realized that through nature and the Native Americans and things just organically came to you, and that is what really drew me to wanting to hear more. And then I've heard, I haven't got the opportunity yet. I will this weekend, and you all will too if you want to join us this weekend, August 24th at Cliff Rose in Springdale. It is in the mouth of Zion. Then we will be doing a special retreat from 9 to 2, and Scott Wright will be a guest there. So so that is why I was fascinated with that. I haven't been able to hear your music, but I have heard that you just organically play what comes to you.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That's how it's unfolded for me. What ended up happening? I've always been a lover of music, and I was listening to you guys talk about how you listen to music and different kinds of music and such. I grew up in the 60s, And I was born in '61, so 60s and 70s. So classic rock, that was my genre, and that was what I was really drawn to. But I even though I still love it, I very rarely listen to it anymore, and it has nothing to do with judgment about that. It's just that it doesn't resonate with where I'm at. It's not on the vibration that I feel that I really want in my life right now. And besides that, I knew all those songs by heart, and I could probably sing them all over in my head 1,000 times. It's just, you listen to them so much. But I met some people through different gatherings and things I was attending, and it began with drumming. I've always loved music, but told myself a story that I couldn't play music. I sang in church one time when I was really young, and when I was singing in church, it was when I was like 6 years old. My grandmother was the leader of the choir. She asked me to come and sing for the Christmas program, which I did, and I didn't do a very good job, and I got made fun of. And so after that, I didn't feel like I could sing. I was scared. I had that story I was telling myself, which we all have those stories, right, that we attach to when we're young, and something happens to us. And so I told myself I couldn't. And I took piano lessons when I was young, but, I learned to play by the numbers on my fingers. I didn't really read the notes, and it wasn't something that really clicked with me. I wasn't really interested in it. It just didn't make sense to me, the reading of notes and playing that way. But when I started to attend some of these gatherings, and they would have nights around the fire where they'd take drums, frame drums, and African djembe drums, all sorts of drums, and shakers and different things, and people would just sit in a drum circle and play. And I felt really drawn to that. And the first time I played, I remember I had a frame drum, and I sat back in the back of the crowd, and thinking that I was just going to mess everything up if I hit that drum one time, and it was going to throw everyone off. And I started hitting it lightly and just kind of very timid, and then I started doing it more and a little bit harder, and then a little bit harder, and then pretty soon I got out of the way a little bit and really started to get into it, and realized what energy, connection, and power, and what a primal feeling it was. Because, we've been doing that kind of stuff in tribes all over this planet for centuries. It started, music, they say, was the first language. Before we could speak, we were vibrating. We were connecting to each other in ways that we're just beginning to now again understand, I believe.
Yes.
And the work that you're doing is exactly that. It's tapping back into that space that we once knew. And language came about and kind of muddled everything. It was necessary for us to be there, but vibration and song and connection in that is something much deeper. It's a language all its own, right?
Yes, yes, it is. And I did find that out when I was first communicating. It was through a hum. It was through, then it was movement, then it was love, then it was trusting. And then, it's that vibrational learning how to talk. And since I was 33 years old, I could feel that the making of the sounds. And then when I went into the indigenous, I did find that that's literally how you communicate at first, because the barriers of you get lost in translation. Sorry if I interrupted you.
No. So I connected with that first time drumming. And then as I went to other gatherings, I started playing on djembe drums, and I had friends around me that encouraged me to play more. And there's actually a great crew of people there in St. George that I've come down and drum with a couple of times. And I'm trying to remember the guy's name. He's from Senegal, I think. He's awesome, wonderful. A good friend of mine, Chase, lives down there, and they have gatherings at their house once in a while. We were there last spring for one. And we had a big drum circle in his backyard. It was wonderful.
Well, you will be here Friday and Saturday. You invite them up to have a jam.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've invited everyone, so I hope they all are able to show up and see if they can come.
Good. But, good. More the merrier, right?
The more the merrier, I agree. And especially with drumming, the more the merrier. It gets really cool. And drumming is so attached to dancing. because it's all about movement. You don't have one without the other. You know, you don't have a chicken without an egg, and the same thing with dancing. You don't have dancing without the drumming and the rhythm that brings. And we've had some great experiences with drumming around the fire and having people get up and drum. One of the gatherings I go to, there's a guy there by the name of Tom, and he's an older guy, a little bit older than me. I'm 58. He's probably in his early 60s. He's been attending these gatherings for a long time, and you know, he knows good drumming when he hears it. And we know when the drumming has hit the sweet spot because Tom gets up and starts dancing. So he's the barometer to know whether or not things are really clicking.
That's what I was going to ask you, if you dance with it, and you answered that. So you do dance.
I could tell you were going to ask him
I was
something.
waiting. I was like, and then you said that. So I was like, he already knew.
He read your mind. Look at that. This intuition we have going on here. The same birthdays, the same, our kids are the boys. I love it.
Yep.
Do you do like dancing meditations, or do you just dance to the beat?
The meditations that I've been doing a meditation here in Salt Lake at a yoga studio, at Maven Strong Yoga Studio. Tessa Arneson is the owner, and she opened up that space and just volunteered it and said, come and play. So every other Sunday I do that. This coming Sunday I have one coming up at 6 p.m.
Really?
At Maven Strong Studio here in Salt Lake.
Wow.
So I'm turning right around and coming from St. George back down here for that on Sunday.
So how is it that you know Jeffrey Olson, and how did you guys meet?
Oh man, that's a story.
Short version.
Short version.
Because he will be joining us on August 24th as well.
I know. I call him the ultimate connector.
Yes.
He sees the networks of people who should be connected, and then he connects them.
Mm-hmm.
He's so good at that, and he's connected me to other people as well. But short version, I met him at an event they were doing in Sedona called Oneness Through Human Triumph.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew nothing. I'd never seen anyone speak about near-death experiences. I'd never, attended an event like that. And there was several people there speaking. And my wife and I, Ray, showed up. And when we were there, it was interesting because, we live in Bountiful, Utah. We went down there to Sedona to go to this event, and like 80% of the people there were from Utah. So we went all the way to Sedona, and all the people we met down there were from Utah. And there were it was like these people that were speaking our language, right? And it wasn't inside of a structured belief system. It was all about energy. It was about healing and love and angel voices and angel healings and different things like that. And I mean, it was the things that we had been searching for a long time. And all of a sudden, here's this group that showed up, and Jeff was the one that was spearheading that group.
Was Katie Jo there as well?
Katie Jo was there as well, yes.
Yes.
Yep.
I love her.
She's awesome.
Yes, she's
so awesson.
Beautiful
she was out of town here a while ago, and I helped facilitate one of her drum circles because she was going to Jackson unexpectedly for an art festival.
Yep, she was.
And so we brought in the djembe drums and did djembe drumming that night, and we had a great time. She was wonderful to let me do that for her.
So the most amazing thing, wrapping this up a little bit, is that a lot of the listeners are new to energy, to meditation, to movement, to drums. And in the beginning, I did talk about, this was really hard for me to do because I know I'm supposed to speak, but I'm really shy, actually. And so all of a sudden I got offered to come and be on the radio, and then I was, okay, I can be on the radio. And then they're like, okay, you're going to do the board. And I'm like, oh, snap. And I'm like, I was worried about it, but piece by piece, I just did it. And I thought I was going to mess it all up. And Sean Denovan from the station here, he's like, Nicole, you just have to remember this one button and not worried about your message yet. And he's like, Neil Armstrong, what did he have to remember? He's like, if he wouldn't have pushed that button, there would have been no communication. And so I have that in my head about that. So it's just those little steps of hitting that drum for the first time and knowing that that ripple effect is going to then somebody else. Like right now, I do know several people say the same thing. I can't drum, I can't sing, I can't heal, and you can.
Absolutely,
it's a choice to show up for you.
You have to get out of the way.
Yes.
You have to get out of the way.
But you can't. They're actually right. They can't because they keep telling themselves they can't.
Yeah.
So once they say I can, then they can. that's when the miracles happen.
So when you, Scott, were beginning and you hit this drum the first time, and you could feel that energy move through you. Each time I'm seeing it just got easier and easier, right?
Absolutely. Yep. It got easier and easier, and then it changed from one thing to the next, from the frame drum. Then it went to djembe drums, and then I took up the flute and realized I could, as long as I played notes in rhythm, it didn't matter what the notes were that I was playing. If I could get them in the rhythm and allow the rhythm to play through me rather than trying to set a rhythm or think a rhythm, just allowing the rhythm to play through me, then songs would just come. And so that's what I do in my meditations. I get out of the way and allow the songs to come. And every meditation, there's probably at least 2 to 3 songs that I've never played before that just play.
So I'm going to invite the people that are listening, because a lot of them are scared, and they're their clients or they're people that have reached out. And I'm really going to invite you to listen to Scott's story. It was hard in the beginning, but he did it. And it wasn't just the drums. Look what opened up to him after he shut his mind down and trusted.
Yep.
How'd you shut your mind down?
And because of the lesson of understanding that, then it bleeds out into everything else in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I never say I can't do anything. If someone asks me, like if someone says, "Do you play the guitar?" I don't say no. I say not yet.
Yay! Oh, I love that.
I love that too.
Yeah.
Not yet.
The only reason I don't play the guitar is because I haven't picked it up and tried.
Mm-hmm.
I've fiddled with it before, but I haven't seriously picked it up and said, I'm going to play this. I have a mandolin, and I wouldn't say I can play the mandolin. I can't play you a song, but we could sit here and I could pluck on the mandolin and probably put you to sleep.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be a song like you've ever heard before. It'd be something completely different. It's not what you're going to expect to come out of a mandolin in the traditional way. It's going to be something else.
So April asked, was there something that triggered you, or some step, or what could you remember your first shutting your brain down, and was it just complete surrender, just to say?
It was much less unconscious than it was conscious.
Okay.
It just happened because I just started going with the flow of what was playing. And drumming is the perfect scenario for this, because you're just playing your own song within the song. Mm-hmm. Someone's usually setting a rhythm that they begin with, like when Katie Jo starts, she's starting a rhythm, and then everyone's playing off that rhythm. That's the same thing I do. I'm playing a rhythm, and then everyone else is playing off that rhythm. I'll maintain that rhythm. I'll stay there. That's the foundation. And that allows other people to come in and do what they can do, or what they want to do, or what they feel to do.
Like a pebble? Like a pebble dropping in the water. That's what I can see.
Exactly. And it just ripples out. It's after you do it, after you experience it, because this is something we could talk about all day long. But until someone actually experiences it, first, if you're afraid to pick up a drum, that's okay. Just come and experience the feeling of what it is. Get up and dance. If you feel more comfortable dancing, dance. Just clap your hands, snap your fingers, click your tongue against the top of your mouth so it's hidden. Whatever you have to do, just to do something. One of the teachers that I've worked with, his name is Porangui, Porangui. He's from Sedona, and he uses his body in so many ways to make sound. Like he takes his mouth. If you hold your mouth out in front of you and you just kind of pucker your lips up, you can make lots of sound. I'll show you. I don't know if this will come through the radio, but I'll try and show you.
Oh.
Is that with your hand?
If you can hear that or not? No. That's just my hand hitting against my mouth, and I'm just changing the resonance. I'm just changing the resonance of the inside of my mouth by moving my tongue in and out. So you're changing the sound.
Oh.
But you can do that with anything. We get stuck in traditional ways of making sound, and you've got to learn how to play an instrument. You've got to sit down. You've got to study. You've got to go to school. You've got to go study with a teacher, that's just not true. Sit
That's
down and
good
make a
news.
rhythm.
Well, you are super, super amazing. And I want to just remind people of your name, Scott Wright. And where can they get a hold of you at if they are seeking to find out more about you?
They can email me if they want to, and that email is SWP, which stands for Scott Wright Photography, which I have a photography business that I've worked with. So it's SWP lifeilluminated@gmail.com.
Or they can meet him this weekend.
Yes, and he will be here.
Meet me this weekend.
We also will take energy. You can email me energyhealingbydesign@gmail.com or jump on Energy Healing by Design. I just said twice in a row. Energyhealingbydesign@gmail. I'm going to get it eventually. Let's try the third time. Energyhealingbydesign@gmail.com. There you go. Another one is energyhealingbydesign.com. Because I'm going to be putting up the speakers and their information and how to get a hold of them. And also if you want to ask them questions, and we would love your feedback because we want to invite Scott back for another drum circle or music circle and start a community circle here, like when he's available, because he does live in Utah County. So please reach out. Let us know how this works for you and ideas. We're always open for that. Also, we all just say we'll take requests for healings, and we do those online when we don't have a or on air when we don't have a guest, and we take callers. So, is there anything that you want to share with us before we wrap this up, Scott?
I'm excited for the weekend. I think it's going to be awesome. I would love to come down there and help with the drum circle. The guy that I met down there, I'm remembering now, I think his name is Gabriel, and he's a guy from Senegal, and he's a fantastic drummer and a great teacher. He's in the St. George area. I'll see if I can get his info, and maybe we can share that, and maybe I can get him to come this weekend, too, and we can see him there.
Definitely has an amazing angelic name.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's a wonderful guy. I've only played with him once, but I could feel his spirit just playing with him one time.
Perfect. Well, thank you for joining us, and we will see you on Saturday, and have a fantastic rest of your day.
Sounds great. Thanks, you guys. Appreciate you having me on.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. So, what amazing experience it's going to be. I got chills just thinking about how many people are going to show up. We have, again, Jeffrey Olsen has a near-death experience. He's a world-renowned author. He has he's a way shower. We have Lula Grace. She's amazing. She's been doing this work for a very, very long time, and she does my clearings and she activates me. And so it's like we all have a place to assist each other. We can't do it alone. We all have these amazing gifts. We all have these abilities, but we have people we can reach out to because life happens to all of us and we need that assistance. And so we are going to be very excited just to share that or offer that to all of you. I'm like really connected. Again, I thank our listeners all the time because sometimes I just trail right off. And yeah.
But you're doing good.
Thank you. I'm doing good at trailing off.
You're doing good. I learned so much in this short time that I've been here, and I really like it. I can feel he has really good energy, too.
Yes, and I encourage and invite you all to do something that's, like I've said it before, something that's uncomfortable. You jump into that because you're going to master it. I was told I can't sing, and I'm still working on that, and people sometimes don't love to listen to me, but I still do it.
I'm going to make you sing on the way home. Oh. I can't sing. I mean, I really am not lying about that.
I know I words come out, vibration comes out, but it has no nobody gets it. They're like, you are so tone deaf. And I learned to appreciate my tone deaf and do it anyways. Because through the chanting Nam Ringe Kyo, I realized that they're still listening. Because I could feel it come in. So I hit it eventually.
I'm glad you said chanting because I'm going to chant this week. So I hope that somebody else will try something new, especially if it feels strange, odd, and weird. Do it.
Yes.
Just do it.
That means you need to do it more.
Yes.
And then it was so joyful to just learn to do that. When I first started, Nico's like, I was on the phone with him and he's like, you're in fear, aren't you? And I'm like, I am, because I kept thinking I was getting the words wrong. And he's like, go do it in your in your room for a little bit, and then let's do this again. And so I did it. And then finally I even though sometimes I don't get it perfectly, I show up.
You did it.
Yeah. So thank you for listening to Return to Consciousness live with Nicole and April. We will be back next Wednesday. Actually, I won't be back next Wednesday, but April will be. So have a fantastic week.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Return to Consciousness with your host, Nicole Ashton, creator of Energy Healing by Design, a world-renowned healer and luminary whose life after death experience has allowed her the gift of empowering people around the globe to heal and grow in their true authentic space. For audio and or video of this, go to Facebook or YouTube, Podbean or Spotify, and search Radio St. George or radiostgeorge.com. We invite you back next Wednesday at 4 o'clock for Return to Consciousness with Nicole Ashton on Radio St. George 100.3 FM.